Boop, 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 boop. Creativity for me is synonymous with life. If I am not being creative, if I'm not making art, if I'm not making creative decisions or being intentful with what I make, I feel like I'm stagnating or falling behind. And that's never a great feeling. It's never a great feeling to be behind or stuck or slow. And I found that, through like periods of time where I've stopped creating art and then I've dipped my toes back into something, it feels like I remember that I'm holding my breath and then I'm able to breathe again. And the flexibility and the breathability that art brings back to my life is something that I always wonder, how do I miss that? Like how do I like how do I not lose that again? Like how am I missing the fact that I'm having something that's so integral to me as a person? Like I got really busy with work for a couple months and then next thing you know, I hadn't done a single creative project in 3 or 4 months. And I felt anxious, I felt tired, I felt drained and unfulfilled, unproductive. And then I started wondering, is this me? What's going on? And then I was like, oh, I need to do something. I need to, do something besides work because work isn't fulfilling for me. So I had taken a vacation with my family and I took an old Digicam with me and I started taking pictures. And now I'm into photography. I love photography, right? But I didn't want the camera to become an obstacle to my vacation because it was a beautiful vacation. And I didn't want this camera to be like, I need to always be hunting for the best shot. And so I made a promise to myself. I'm like, I'm not going to take this too seriously. It's a camera. It's coming with me. If I see something interesting, snap a quick picture of it, right? And that's what I did. I'm really surprised I stuck to that too, right? And so I never really looked at the pictures while I was on vacation. And then I came back a couple months later, back to work. Like I forget about the pictures. And I'm like, wait, I totally needed to find my favorites and edit them. So I open up and I have like something of like 2,000 pictures. It's a ridiculous amount of pictures. So I start breaking them down slowly, bit by bit, taking chunks out, sorting which ones are good and which ones are bad. And I edit these pictures that I find and I have that moment where I'm like I'm able to breathe again. And I remember like this is what I have to do to remain happy with myself. And I was right. I immediately started feeling better. Before I knew it, 3 hours had passed. And I was just editing away at these pictures. And oh my God, I missed that ability to create things with my own hands. Like I had already made that picture, but going through and curating them and finding meaning and editing them, like going through and doing that long process just reminded me of like what a creative genius I am behind the camera. I'm gonna give myself a pat on the back there for a minute. Like I'm just like, whoa, these are some pretty good pictures here. Like I know you were taking them casually, but I mean, like look at this depth. And it reminded me so much of like the importance of creating as a person. And I fell into this trap that I feel like a lot of people fall into, where if their main objective or like habit is not creating art, they consider it to be a hobby. And I think that's I think it's inappropriate to call art a hobby, because I think art fuels so much of us as people. And even if you're watching this right now and you're not necessarily like you don't consider yourself good at art or whatever that means for you, this is still important. It's important for you. It's important for us as people. I mean, there's a reason that art is something that's been documented throughout human history for way longer than I've been alive. Let me tell you that. And it's because we feel connected to it. We feel connected to art because it reflects us as people. When I'm making something, it's reflecting my state of being. And I think it's important to recognize that, because if you're not like, if you're not being, mindful with the way that you're making art and you're just making like little bits of art, I try and find meaning in what I make, right? Because I don't think I just like doodle around for no reason. I think, art is very reflective of me as a person and the state that I'm in. And if I don't have that, like that connection to myself, I start to lose parts of myself in that, right? And I think it's a lot like journaling. Art and journaling, they really force you to be mindful about the state of yourself. It's very soothing, right? And when we lose that, I feel like there's just so many unintended consequences that come with, really losing the creative acts in your life. And I'm not, so when I say like art and creativity, I don't necessarily mean you have to be making like paintings or drawings or anything like that. Like creativity comes in so many different forms of expression. Like I recently have branched out into creative writing and poetry, and that's been very expressive because I've always had a really good understanding of English. So being able to then like take that love that I have for English and taking it over into something that I can like make art out of is really beautiful to me, right? And even if it's just like taking pictures on your phone, or if you want to get more dull with it, I mean, when I'm at work and I'm making spreadsheets, like I try and be a little creative with it, like I try and like experiment with the colors a little bit and format it differently so it's more aesthetically pleasing, right? Like all of these little things that allow you to express your preferences and as a person are so important because they're so small. Because if you're not keeping up with this, then over time, it's just one little thing after another, one little thing after the other. And then before you know it, there's really nothing of you anywhere. Right? I mean, I'll see pictures of people's bedrooms and they have no like life to them at all because no one took the time to find things that they found meaningful and place them in their room, right? Like I can't imagine what my room would look like if I didn't have, my endless Pop Mart figures, right? Right? Or lining my shelves with books that I've enjoyed for years, or any of like the collectibles that I got from my vacation. Like I can't imagine if I stripped this space that I spend so much time in of all of the things that have given me joy and remind me of places that I've been, right? And that's intentful and mindful living. That's what that is. If you're not being intentful with the way that you're expressing yourself, you start to lose yourself along the way. And a lot of that comes out of fear because like for a long time I didn't really want to do that because I was afraid I wasn't getting it perfect. And I hate to break it to you, but some of the best art I've ever seen is fundamentally flawed. So if you're worried about it not being perfect, then you have much lower chances of ever making something meaningful. And it doesn't have to be meaningful to anybody. And that was a big hang up of mine for a while. It was like I was afraid to make things because I was afraid they weren't going to be meaningful to other people. And I had to get to a point in my life where I had to realize like, hey, oh geez. I had to get to a point in my life where I was like, hey, this doesn't have to be meaningful to you because I did this for me, right? And sometimes, like especially with social media, I feel like sometimes I lose myself and like I try and get caught up with the validation of it all. Like it sometimes gets a little discouraging when I'm like posting on my private Instagram of like a more of like a satirical post that I like find funny, and then the next one is like one of the most meaningful pieces of art that I've ever made, and the satirical post gets way more likes or something like that. And it's just like sometimes I forget that I'm not doing this for other people, I'm doing this for me because I have so little time here alive to be able to truly express myself as an artist and as a person. And that's hard. And I feel like, especially when you're trying to like break into art more, you can feel, I guess, daunted by the expertise of others. And you can feel like you could never really amount to that. And my response is, you totally can. You absolutely can. I I remember when I was, 6 or 7 or so, and like thinking like, whoa, this is like the coolest thing I've ever seen before. I wish I could do this. And not the like I wish as in I'm gonna go out and achieve it, but the I wish as in like I know I probably can't. And that messaging, unfortunately, I think followed me through a lot of my life where I was like, oh, I wish I could do this, but I just can't. And I never really had a good excuse as to why I couldn't do things. And I feel like I know it made me miss out on a lot of stuff that I wish I was able to go back and have a second chance on, right? And this is my message to anyone out there, really. But young, old, um, it doesn't matter who you are. If you aren't making things, what are you doing? You need to be making something of yourself. You need to be able to find that purpose. And it doesn't matter if it sucks. I can't tell you how many things I've made that suck and will never see the light of day. But for every 10 bad things that you make one good thing. And that one good thing is going to be your pride and joy for the next couple months. And that's what keeps you going. So if you stop at number 8 or number 9, you just got to keep digging. Okay? It's like gambling. You never give up and then you win really big. Trust me. Trust me on that one. But no. I mean, I thought I would come on here and just say, like, you need to make. And if not for yourself, then for me. And if you want to show me some of your art, I would absolutely love to see it. You can DM me on Instagram. And make sure to follow me on Instagram too. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers before my birthday on July 19th. So if you want to be part of that journey, I would heavily appreciate you for doing that. And if you want to DM me some of your art pieces or just DM me and say, hey, check out my profile for some of my art, I'd love to chat with you on it too. Like, I love getting to see all of like how different people express themselves. And feel free to DM me. I mean, my at is my camera's flipped. My at is at Blake is Talking. It's the same on YouTube as it is on Instagram. So make sure to go follow me. And I don't know. Go make cool things. Bye.